Hello, my name is Mahbub Khan. I'm doing case study number 2 for social ethics and issues. My topic is advocates of free speech and net neutrality, and how important are they? That's this case study, and this case study it shows that multiple people are committing a suicide live stream on Facebook, and also on Facebook Live, and also committing crimes and just speech crimes. And it's stated that Twitter has to now Twitter and Facebook have to reconsider how they should allow some sort of speech to be on the website. Introduction: freedom and speech neutrality. With technology being at our fingertips and being able to access the internet with one click, how important is our speech and what we can access on the net? Should we get banned from some sites and not being able to access them, or should we limit them? What is net neutrality and free speech? Net neutrality is a principle that internet services providers should enable access, contact, and application regardless of the source, and without favoring or blocking particular products or websites. Free speech is the ability to speak freely and state your opinion. What is net neutrality and free speech? Net neutrality is a principle that internet service providers should enable access to all content and application, regardless of the source and without favoring or blocking particular websites. Free speech is the ability to speak freely. Importance of free speech and net neutrality. James Madison, one of the founding fathers of the article, stated how important it was. A man has property in his opinion and the free communication of them. A great example of this is Dr. Martin Luther King's free speech. I have a dream. If he wasn't able to say I have a dream, then it wouldn't have access to civil rights movement, and nowadays there would be more segregation. There would be segregation. And net neutrality is also very important because it gives us equal access to all websites at all times except illegal ones. Also restricting service providers from blocking websites and charging certain websites more fees for consuming more of our bandwidth. How does technology affect net neutrality and free speech? Technology affects both very much because in this day and age we can post what's on our mind in the blink of an eye, and if it's harmful, even if it's harmful or racist. Great examples are Trump tweets, cyberbullies, and also Facebook posts. There's no restriction on what you can post, especially net neutrality, because nowadays we have phone providers also, and we are adding and seeing more internet service providers on phones and landlines. So now we need it, so it would not be able to restrict our net neutrality. If phone services could restrict it, then we would not be able to access some websites on our phones. As in China they restrict access to certain websites like WhatsApp and Facebook. Some of the case studies I went over was Netflix versus Comcast. In this case study, Netflix had a third-party communication websites streaming their videos for them, and then Comcast started charging the third level communication service provider for hosting a Netflix on live streaming because they use so much bandwidth, and Comcast tried to charge them outrageous fees, and they had to pay it because they had an agreement with Netflix that Netflix was supposed to they were supposed to stream Netflix videos, and then Netflix and Comcast went to trial because of that. And in that trial, it demonstrates the importance of net neutrality because Comcast was trying to restrict them and charge them certain fees for accessing the internet and using more bandwidth. And in that case, Netflix won. The second case is the ban on broadcast. Um, and on a radio, you know that you don't hear sexual contacts and you don't context and you don't hear cigarettes ad and you, and they can display it in newspapers and on billboards, but why can't they display it on the radio or on certain TVs? And the Supreme Court banned it, and that's also like banning our free speech. But the, in 1944, they tried to try to get rid of the ban and to allow them to advertise on TV and the radio, but they did not win. They did not win it because of the contacts. My opinion on free speech and net neutrality are my opinion on net neutrality and free speech is are very important. My opinion is that free speech and net neutrality are very important, but there are good and bad ways to use both. We are all human. There are good humans and bad humans, and it depends on how we use it, how we use our speech, how we use the internet, and it all depends on the person, not really the technology. And these are my references.